In March 2025, a staggering announcement rocked the world. Malaysia swore to restart the hunt for Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370's wreckage, unleashing a storm of excitement and dread. Every major news outlet screamed the story across the globe. The most bewildering plane crash ever, MH370, could finally unveil its dark secrets. Where's the wreckage hiding? Who were the elusive hijackers? Answers might be near. In 2014, Flight MH370 soared from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, a cutting-edge Boeing 777-200, packed with 227 souls. Yet, just 30 gut-wrenching minutes after takeoff, it vanished from radar, gone in a flash. Since then, MH370 has haunted aviation history as its greatest riddle. For over a decade, Malaysia, Australia, and China poured $150 million into frantic searches, desperate for clues. Still, the plane's a phantom, no trace anywhere. Where did it go? Crazy theories erupted. Some whispered of aliens, time tunnels, or black holes swallowing it whole. Others pointed fingers. Was it the captain? A rogue passenger? Some even swore they saw MH370's ruins in Cambodia's jungles on Google Maps. But one haunting question burns. How did MH370 vanish into nothingness? On the fateful night of March 8, 2014, at 12:41 a.m., Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 roared into the sky from Kuala Lumpur, bound for Beijing, carrying 227 passengers, 10 crew members, and 2 pilots. Captain Zari Ahmed Shah, 53, a seasoned veteran and one of Malaysia Airlines' most trusted pilots, led the flight. His co-pilot, Farik Hamid, 27, was on his final training mission before earning his full pilot wings. At 1:08 a.m., the Boeing 777-200 soared over the Malaysian coastline, gliding above the South China Sea toward Vietnam. Captain Zari's calm voice crackled over the radio, reporting an altitude of 35,000 feet. Everything seemed perfectly normal. By 1:19 a.m., 38 minutes into the flight, MH370 crossed into Vietnamese airspace. As routine demanded, Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control instructed the captain, MH370, contact Ho Chi Minh City. Good night. Zari's reply was chillingly casual. Good night, MH370. It sounded so ordinary, so routine, no hint of the terror to come. But shockingly, those words became MH370's final message to the world. Just 2 minutes after that call, as the plane entered Vietnamese airspace, it vanished from radar in under 30 seconds. This sudden, heart-stopping disappearance became the greatest aviation mystery in history. At 1:21 a.m., Kuala Lumpur Air Traffic Control noticed nothing amiss, assuming MH370 had safely crossed into Vietnam's radar range. Moments later, Vietnamese controllers were stunned. MH370 had vanished from their screens. They frantically tried to contact the plane, but silence was their only reply. After 18 agonizing minutes of failed attempts, Vietnam alerted Kuala Lumpur. MH370 was gone. Protocol demanded that Kuala Lumpur's Aviation Rescue Coordination Center be notified within an hour, but shockingly, it took for excruciating hours for the emergency response to kick in. By 6:32 a.m., the world held its breath, praying for a miracle, hoping MH370 would touch down safely in Beijing. But no miracle came. The plane was gone, without a single trace or whisper. Search operations erupted immediately, zeroing in on the South China Sea where MH370 last appeared on radar. This was no small effort. It was a massive international mission, with 34 ships and 28 aircraft from 7 nations racing against time to find answers. Just 4 days into the frantic search, on March 12, 2014, a bombshell rocked the rescue teams. Though MH370 had vanished from civilian radar, military radar picked up its ghostly signal that night. Shockingly, the military data revealed the plane's last trace at 2:22 a.m., a full hour later than civilian records. Even more baffling, it wasn't over the South China Sea anymore. It was near the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, hovering above the Malacca Strait, west of Malaysia. According to the radar, the plane was flying south, toward the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, the complete opposite direction of Beijing. This stunning revelation left everyone reeling. Where was MH370 headed? Was it streaking toward India, crashing into the Himalayas, or even Kazakhstan? The search spiraled into chaos, but days later, a glimmer of hope emerged, a new clue that turned everything upside down. Satellite data uncovered a chilling detail. After disappearing from both civilian and military radar, MH370 had tried to ping a satellite. This wasn't unusual. It's like a phone desperately searching for a Wi-Fi signal. When all connections to ground radar and radio systems failed, MH370 desperately tried to reach out to a satellite, clinging to a faint hope of staying linked to the world. But here's the gut-wrenching twist. The plane only attempted to log in. It never connected. No location data, no signals, nothing shared with the satellite. Yet, this didn't stop the relentless investigators. They uncovered a crucial clue. When a satellite receives a communication request, it swivels its antenna toward the plane's direction. By measuring the antenna's angle and crunching the numbers, they pieced together a rough estimate of MH370's location. Astonishingly, satellite data revealed the plane tried to ping the satellite 7 times. Investigators marked these attempts with 7 stark white circles, each representing a handshake with the corresponding time. The 7th circle, chillingly, was the plane's final, desperate attempt to reach out. But here's the mind-blowing shock. That final circle was massive, sprawling across vast regions, from Kazakhstan and China to Indonesia, Australia, and a boundless ocean. MH370 could be anywhere within that enormous circle, or even beyond. Satellite data alone wasn't enough to crack the case, so the investigators dug deeper, factoring in the plane's speed, remaining fuel, and more. After grueling calculations, they narrowed it down. MH370 was likely in the shadowed region of that final circle. This arc, known as the 7th arc, became the heart of the mystery. The 7th arc lies 2,500 kilometers west of Australia, a vast, uncharted expanse, shrouded in secrets. On the map, satellite predictions trace the plane's path. A bold yellow dotted circle marks the farthest MH370 could have flown with its fuel. 7 grueling hours in the air. The red arc, the 7th arc, pinpoints where the plane likely plummeted to its doom. Search after search was launched, targeting the yellow-shaded zones. The orange areas burned with the most intense efforts, scoured relentlessly. But by April 2014, hope faded. The surface search was halted. No debris, no trace. MH370 sank into the abyss, leaving nothing to float on the sea. Still, finding MH370 remained a desperate mission. Deep-sea searches roared to life, plunging into the ocean's depths. This was the largest, most expensive search ever, with teams battling weeks, months, even years to find the lost plane. Yet, heartbreakingly, they found nothing, absolutely nothing. 3 years later, after burning through $160 million, the deep-sea search was called off. The mission had collapsed in crushing defeat. But all was not lost. In July 2015, a stunning discovery shook the world. A piece of wreckage, a right wing flap, was found on Réunion Island, confirmed to be from MH370. This chilling find offered a vital clue to pinpointing the crashed site. Then, in 2018, American company Ocean Infinity boldly stepped up. They struck a daring no-find, no-fee deal with the Malaysian government, risking $70 million of their own money for a new search. If they failed to find the plane, they'd walk away empty-handed. With fierce determination, they launched their mission. Armed with cutting-edge underwater drones, they scoured the ocean depths, mapping the seabed as they hunted. Their search uncovered eerie secrets in the 7th arc, hidden underwater volcanoes, jagged cliffs, and towering ridges. For months, they battled on, but heartbreakingly, the mission crumbled in defeat. Meanwhile, social media erupted with wild theories about MH370's fate. To cut through the chaos, Malaysian police launched a relentless investigation, digging into the backgrounds of every passenger and pilot, desperate to uncover if someone had plotted to hijack the plane. From these probes, haunting questions arose, clawing at the truth. First and foremost, how did MH370 vanish from radar? Was it a catastrophic electrical failure, or a sinister human act that silenced the plane's systems? Most chillingly, many believe someone deliberately caused the disaster. The prime suspect, Captain Zari Ahmed Shah, accused of intentionally severing communications, plunging MH370 into the ocean's depths. But why would he do such a thing? Some whisper he was battling a fractured mental state. Others suspect a dark suicidal urge, or even a terrifying hijacking plot, like a terrorist attack. So why was Zari thrust into the spotlight of blame? The evidence is haunting. First, the plane made a near 180-degree turn back from Vietnam toward Malaysia, an impossible feat for autopilot. The pilots had to manually, deliberately disable the transponder. Second, MH370 veered straight to the Thailand-Malaysia border, cunningly dodging radar detection from both nations' airspace. Third, and most spine-chilling, police uncovered a flight simulator in Zari's home. Not unusual for a pilot, but what was shocking was a programmed flight path on it. By sheer coincidence, or was it that route eerily mirrored MH370's actual trajectory? No doubt, the captain became the prime suspect. Yet, search officials fiercely rejected this theory, pointing to glaring doubts. For one, Zari was a revered, veteran pilot with a spotless record. No family troubles, no financial woes, no political red flags, nothing to suggest treachery. If a pilot planned to crash or take their own life, there'd be some telltale sign in their behavior or life. But so far, not a single trace of anything sinister has surfaced. And so, a second chilling theory emerged. There had to be foul play on board. Investigators zeroed in on 2 passengers, Iranians traveling with stolen passports, sparking wild suspicions. Could they have been the masterminds behind MH370's doom? Police dug deep, only to uncover a heartbreaking truth. These men were merely seeking a new life in Europe, using fake passports. One man's mother was waiting desperately for him in Hamburg, Germany. In the end, the terrifying terrorist attack theory was shattered. Interpol confirmed it loud and clear. These men were not terrorists. With that, a third haunting theory took shape, one that sent shivers down the spine. What if everyone on MH370, passengers, crew, even Captain Zari and his co-pilot, passed out from oxygen starvation? The entire plane, lost in a ghostly slumber, drifting on autopilot until its fuel ran dry, crashing into the sea's abyss. But how could such a catastrophic lack of oxygen happen? Investigators scrambled to unravel the mystery. Some pointed to a possible electrical fire in the cockpit, frying critical systems, including the transponder. Others feared a freak accident triggered a sudden oxygen shortage. Or, most chillingly, could a hijacker have deliberately caused the hypoxia, silencing the plane? Whatever the cause, the systems failed, yet MH370 kept soaring on autopilot, a doomed ghost in the sky. Military radar uncovered a chilling twist. MH370's autopilot abruptly veered south, streaking across the Indian Ocean, only to crash in a desolate sea 2,000 kilometers west of Australia. Wild theories swirled in the aftermath. Some claimed aliens snatched the plane from the sky. Others whispered that the US military shot it down, scrambling to hide the truth. Some even speculated that Russian President Putin knew its secret location, or that a new Bermuda Triangle had swallowed it whole. These outlandish ideas piled up, but they were clearly far-fetched. Years have passed, yet the deepest pain lingers with the families torn apart by loss. On January 29, 2015, Malaysia's Civil Aviation Authority delivered a gut-wrenching blow, officially declaring MH370 lost, with all 239 passengers and crew presumed dead. This cold, official verdict forced families to face a brutal reality. Their loved ones were likely gone forever. Yet, many clung to hope, refusing to accept the truth. They held fast to the belief that their relatives might still be alive, or, at the very least, prayed to recover their remains for closure. On July 30, 2018, the Malaysian government released a staggering 822-page final report to MH370's grieving families. It detailed the plane specs, crew profiles, and exhaustive search efforts. But, heartbreakingly, the report admitted defeat. Investigators could not pinpoint the true cause of MH370's disappearance. It revealed a chilling detail. The plane was deliberately turned off course by human hands, its controls possibly sabotaged, veering it far from its path. Yet, who was to blame remained a maddening mystery. This vague conclusion fueled confusion and left families seething with rage and despair. In the years since, these heartbroken families fought tirelessly for answers, demanding justice for their loved ones. They rallied, protested, and filed lawsuits against the Malaysian government, Malaysia Airlines, and Boeing, desperate to uncover the truth and hold someone accountable. But their quest for justice has been a grueling, agonizing struggle.